Hi, good morning, and I'd like to welcome you to Poem Praise 2, and may peace and blessings be upon you this day. And right now, we're going to move right along in breaking the chains of psychological slavery. We are now in chapter 3 of Racial, Religious Imagery, and Psychological Confusion. And we're going to go into the introduction, but certainly before I do, I certainly would like to give a shout out to just receiving information in all sorts of areas, whatever it is that you may be going through, or whatever information you need to acquire. I certainly like to give a shout out to the Landocious Show. Certainly do like what you're putting out there and the information. And also, I like to give a shout out to other shows that I listen to. I listen to the Landocious Show. I listen to Farrakhan, his shows. I listen to Brother Ben X. So to just let you know that I'm not just doing my show, you certainly have to acquire information in different areas and use your YouTube as a tool in regards to information that just learn. I mean, Google, if you ask the right question, certainly acquire knowledge in whatever it is you may be dealing with in order to actually bring healing or actually bring some information to acquire to certainly do things on a personal level. Now, we're going to continue right along in the introduction of this book of what we're reading until I figure out the next book I would like to read on my show, because this is how much we have completed and this is how much we got to go. Yeah, we're getting through this book for sure. And an introduction goes as such. We have spent much of the last 100 years since legal emancipation fighting what has been the surface of the problem. Because we were operating at the surface, we had no sooner cut down the upper limbs of racial oppression that the underbrush grew back, consuming us again. Our problems were literally Sisyphean. Sisyphean is spelled Sisyphian. Perpetually rolling the stone of social, political, and psychological resolution to the top, only to have it roll down. And we began a difficult cycle all over again. You may read books such as The Strange Career of Jim Crow by C. Van Woodward and discover that what is happening in the social and political environment right now at the close of the 20th century are essentially the same events which were occurring at the close of the 19th century. There was a similar time about 100 years ago when African people thought that freedom had been acquired. With a political enfranchisement and the aid of some other people helping us to set our agenda, we had more African Americans in positions of political power 100 years ago than we actually have today. Reconstruction in the South produced more political presence of African Americans than we have had since. The presence of African Americans in positions of political power throughout the southern United States and even in northern parts was a common occurrence before the end of the 1800s. In less than 10 years' time, the Jim Crow laws were enacted and we found ourselves in almost the same political condition that we were in prior to 1865, or worse. Now, after 1865, we had the illusion of freedom. We made the disfranchisement even more cruel than to the slave, who was clearly defined as without rights. It took almost 100 years to get the Jim Crow laws removed to bring us right back where we were 100 years before. Then along comes the political changes of the 1980s and the 1990s, which have threatened to reverse many of the political gains made in the prior 2 decades. These changes are combined with the mentality that it is not unlike the heavily racist one which had reached the fever pitch at the time of establishment of the Jim Crow laws. The fact that the clock can be easily turned back, and we repeatedly find ourselves trying to correct problems which were supposedly resolved, may suggest that we are not appropriately recognizing and are dealing with the real problem. Such relapses would not occur if we were not perhaps dealing with the symptoms of the problem, or superficial manifestations of a deeper problem, which, like the weed whose roots is left intact, soon rises again to choke the life from the garden of progress. The nature of our problem is quite serious and represents a deeply embedded psychological disturbance. I'm giving some because you just need to think about that. I'm going to just repeat that line again just so I can repeat it and you can allow it to sink in. Such relapses would not occur if we were not perhaps dealing with the symptoms of the problem or superficial manifestations of a deeper problem, which, like the weed whose root is left intact, soon rises again to choke the life from the garden of progress. The nature of our problem is quite serious and represents a deeper embedded psychological disturbance. Now, when I actually read that and think about it in regards to having a psychological disturbance, now when you have something that is growing and you disturb it during its growth, simply because I do like plants and I certainly like to do some planting, and you disturb something while it's growing, you're going to affect the way it's growing, depending on the type of disturbance it is. I'm just going to say, But now that knowledge is acquired and know about it, now you know too, because we're reading this together, right? So it's deeply embedded, a psychological disturbance. When you're going through some changes, watch out for the distractions and the disturbances that come about. Try to get you off track. Try to make you lose focus. Try to get you to relapse and go back. Get you off focus. So focus. Heard that? Yeah, I need that F-O-C-U-S. Focus. Stay focused. We need something more than an aspirin to remove the symptoms. Yeah, I was thinking a little earlier in regards to the fact I just read about aspirin, how, sometimes some people will inject you with some medicine. It'd be some good medicine, right? It'd be good to the soul, be good to eat, be good, just good. You feeling good. Now, got to be on the lookout and the watch for the injections of infections. What I mean by that? Injections of infections. Now, when you go to the doctor dealing with an infection, or if you ever had an infection, it may take, you just got a little bit of a cold. We're going to have to let it take its course, last about 5 or 7 days. You got an infection. It may take 2 or 3 months for you to heal. First of all, you're going to get the scab. And then after you get the scab, don't bump the scab. Because then if you bump the scab and the scab come off, guess what? You got to start the healing process back over again. Start back over again. Okay, it's healing. It's smooth. Stay away from it. Don't bump it. All right, it's healing. It's cool. Then you're all cool. Then you're healed. But sometimes you have a complete healing and you can't see the scar. Then sometimes there's a healing where you actually can still see the scar. Might look at every now and then. It reminds you, dang, I remember. But hey, it ain't like it was. For real, I remember. Okay, that's for my remembrance, not to do that again, to remind me not to take that path that way again. I know I went a little bit long with the aspirin, but I had to let you know that some things in medicine, aspirin, that's something that you could see. You could tangibly see it. And then you take it. All right, you could take it. But see, I took that on like tangible, where you can see it. And then mental, maybe emotional, maybe spiritual, where you might take medicine on a whole nother level in regards to what you hear, type of medicine. In regards to what you smell, different aromas bring about different feelings. Okay. Okay. Yeah, go and study. Study about when you burn sage. Study about thyme. Study the different ingredients in regards to what I'm talking about for that level. Yeah, go do some research on it. Just read about the different herbs and spices in regards to how we can use them in different ways besides just using them to cook with. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, the last sentence of this section, getting back to the book, we need massive corrective surgery on the brain. Massive corrective. Now, when you're correcting something, something has already been done. Something has already happened. Like when you take a test and then you actually, okay, you done took the test. Now let me correct it for you. Let me look at everything that's been done already. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Okay, that one's wrong. We need to go back and correct that. Okay, let's learn some information as to why it was wrong. Acquire information. And now we're going to go back and we're going to correct it. Now, do you know? Because, see, I knew. That's why I helped you with the correction. And now you know. So now we both know in regards to the correction. So when this ever comes up again regarding this question, you will know the answer. So that correction actually helped you to not do something the wrong way again. But sometimes you got to get correction. But it may not feel good when you're getting corrected. But it is all to your good after you learn the correction. Now, see, we're doing some correction regarding the mind. Mental slavery. Mental breaking the chains. Mental for us to advance in our potential and not be detrimental. For real though. Seriously. Mental. I like that. I think I'll say it again. Mental to advance our potential. So that it'll be good and not detrimental. Okay? And certainly if you didn't know that word, that you got the first three letters, detrimental, D-E-T, potential, P-O-T. Just need the first three letters. Then you go get a dictionary. Look that up. Yeah, dictionary is good. If you don't have one in your house, you need to have one in your house. You need to always have a dictionary. Or, for y'all who don't have a dictionary, guess what? You can get it on your phone. You looking at me on your phone, you can definitely use that to type in a word. And even if you misspell it, it's going to help you out to find out the correct spelling of the word. Got to use our tools that we have. And on that note, I'm about to get ready to be out here on Poem Praise 2. I want you to be blessed. Have a blessed day. Peace and blessings be upon you. And certainly, most definitely, keep your head up. All right? All right. Until I holler at you again here on Poem Praise 2. Later, y'all.